Welcome to the Real World. My name is Cameron. Thank you so much for joining us on episode 74 of the Real World podcast. Today we're talking all about our favorite movies of 2023. Thank you for joining us here in the Real World. If you're new, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. We're all about movies, so if you're a movie fan, you're in the right place. Today we're going to kick things off as we usually do with some movie news. First up, Daniel Craig and Charlize Theron are starring in a new movie called Two for the Money. This is a crime caper film following the relationship between two career thieves over the course of three big heists. This movie will be directed by Justin Lin, who directed several of the Fast and Furious films, as well as Star Trek Beyond. Really like this director, really like this cast, so very much looking forward to this. Should start shooting very soon. Sean Gunn will play Maxwell Lord in the DCU. His brother James Gunn cast him. He, of course, is known as Kraglin in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but he is going to play this new role in the DCU. He's also continuing to play the role of Weasel, which he originated in The Suicide Squad. And so very excited to see where we see Maxwell Lord show up first. This character was played by Pedro Pascal a few years ago in Wonder Woman 1984. J.K. Simmons joined the cast of Clint Eastwood's next film, Juror Number 2, a courtroom drama, also starring Nicholas Hoult, Toni Collette, Kiefer Sutherland, and Zoe Deutsch. Now it is restarting production after the actors' strike, so that film should be coming out sometime next year. Godzilla Minus One becomes the highest grossing Japanese live-action film in U.S. history. It has already grossed over $14 million, and now it is expanding its theatrical run. It will also go over to Europe, South Africa, all kinds of other places. So obviously audiences are ready for foreign films. And I think audiences are just more interested in foreign films now than they've ever been before. Obviously, if you're telling a good story, you're going to find an audience, and this film certainly did that. So it's breaking down language barriers and borders, which is a lot of fun to see. I consider it the must-see movie of the holiday season. The Boy and the Heron becomes the first ever original anime production to top the domestic box office with $12.8 million this weekend. It is the latest film from Hayao Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli, which has become very, very popular over the years. This is a big news for Japanese cinema. I mean, after coming on the heels of Godzilla Minus One, this is just great news for them, those incredible artists over there. So very excited to see that. That one is now in theaters. I highly recommend it as well. National Board of Review revealed their top 10 films of 2023, which include Barbie, The Boy and the Heron, Ferrari, The Holdovers, The Iron Claw, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, and Poor Things. They also gave the first ever Stunt Artistry Award to John Wick Chapter 4, which is well deserved. Very excited to see that. So hopefully more of those come in the future, particularly to the Academy Awards. All right, folks. Well, that is it for movie news. Now it's time to jump into our main topic. It's a big topic coming to the end of 2023. So we decided to do our best movies of 2023 list. We're going to give you our top 10. We're going to all share with you our lists, and then we're going to create an official real world list. So joining me to do that is Bert. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How's it going, Cam?
Excellent, excellent. And also joining us is Josh. How you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome, excellent. All right, guys. Well, we're excited to kick this off. So like I said, each of us will give our top 10. We're just going to first start with the 10 through 6, and then our 5 through 1, each of our lists individually, and then we'll kind of have to create a shared list together. So it should be a lot of fun. Let's kick it off. All right, so before we get into our respective top 10 lists, we want to talk quickly about some big surprises and some big disappointments this year. There are a lot of movies that came out this year, and some of them you think, man, that movie's going to be great. I can't wait to see it. And then it kind of disappoints you. Others you think, that doesn't look that great. And then it really surprises you and is really good. So, Bert, why don't you kick us off? Any that stood out to you?
I'll tell you one that's not super high on my list. I've got it ranked 20 for the year right now, but interestingly enough, it's a movie called The Boogeyman, and it's a Stephen King story. And I thought this was going to be absolutely terrible, but I watched it. It was actually very well made, and a good story. And it uses this device, this little girl in it. I think she may be like 8 or 10 years old. She carries around this orb that lights up. And so it's just kind of like her, I think it's like her soothing thing that she carries around. So anyway, so in this house, it's got long, corridors and things like that. And there's times where she'll like hear a noise and she rolls this thing like a bowling ball and it slowly goes along and it lights up what's at the end of the
That's
hall. And
cool.
sometimes that's something kind of scary, sometimes not. But just check it out for people that like horror. I'd recommend that one. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
So
didn't
that
get
was
to
a
see that.
surprise.
I wanted to watch that one. I haven't had a chance to see it. I actually realized it's the actress, the young actress you're talking about. She played young Princess Leia in the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, it's the
Oh,
same
okay.
person.
So
Oh,
I
cool.
really wanted to watch that. That's on the watch list. Yeah, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, that orb, it's not the main crux of the film, but I just thought it was a
Yeah.
kind of a creative way of revealing some scares.
Yeah, that is cool.
Another one I'll throw out there. So kind of along those lines, sort of the Haunted Mansion. I don't know about you guys. I had a real tough time getting through this movie. I thought it was pretty terrible. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not a fan. It's one of those movies that I wasn't expecting a ton from, but
Mhm.
even what we got wasn't great. It's kind of one of those like
Mhm.
Eddie Murphy's version. I didn't expect much from, but actually kind of enjoyed that one.
Yeah, it
He was
wasn't
at least
terrible,
really funny and it was kind of silly. This one, I don't know, it was just a mixed bag of like the cast didn't really work for me. It wasn't super scary, but also wasn't really funny enough. It
Mhm.
didn't really
Mhm.
commit to either way. I would rather it kind of tried to be maybe scarier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was a big letdown for sure.
Yeah, another what about you, Josh? Sorry, I didn't let you comment on that one. Did you
Oh,
love Haunted
I
Mansion?
think I liked it a little more than you guys, but still like kind of some of the things you were saying. I wish, well, first of all, I wish they didn't use like everything they had from all the rides, like sequels. Hello, come on, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Playing all your tricks at once. So that was a little disappointing, especially like in in Florida, the Disney World, the main element of the story is the wife with her multiple husbands she kills, and so
Right.
and then so that was kind of disappointing that they just kind of, it was just a little bit in there, and that could have been a whole sequel. It's
Yeah.
just that story alone, because the rides have their own individual stories, or people theorize what the individual stories are. So that was a little disappointing with what they were just kind of like shotgunning everything into it. Based on things I've heard about the first movie, which I didn't see, but like everyone was like expecting something and it wasn't great. So
Right.
like this felt like this is their Disney's second shot at it. This is their opportunity to make it good and do an actually really good movie, and it
Mhm.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the last one I'll throw out there. This one was disappointing, although I didn't really have any expectations. And that was the Blue Beetle. I don't even know if I probably watched the trailer once, but I knew nothing going in. And to me, this really didn't do anything to sort of excite the genre of superheroes. I felt like the origin story was just kind of retread. I thought some of the characters were annoying, and the action was okay, but it's most of the action is just a guy in a suit or a CGI version of that. I don't know. So, I mean, what do you guys think of Blue Beetle?
To me, it's just a middle of the road type superhero movie. I didn't think it was particularly bad, but like you're saying, it didn't really bring enough freshness to make it really stand out and be as great as I was hoping it would be. Because it's a character I really like from the comics and from some of the
Oh.
animated series. So I liked the movie. Haven't had any desire to rewatch it though. It's just one that I thought was, again, just kind of okay. Not anything particularly great.
Gotcha.
Josh, you've got the t-shirt, so you're a mega
Yeah.
fan of Blue Beetle.
Well, I don't know if I'm a mega fan, but I really had a good time watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's one I'm like antsy to no pun intended with the bugs to go see again or to watch again, but I would definitely rewatch it. And I really I don't know, like I see the complaints and I agree with a lot of them, but I just had like a really fun time with it. And like you said, Cameron, I really like that character as well. So yes, I wish it would have been a little better, but I still had fun with what came out.
Gotcha.
Anything else, Bert?
I'll let you or Josh go.
Sure, Josh. Do you have any that stood out to you this year? Surprises or disappointments?
So I stepped into the Fast and Furious world at number 10, or I guess the 11th movie technically, but
Yes.
so that was a little surprising. It wasn't quite, it did definitely have the what are they doing? This isn't realistic. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it was compared to like everything everyone said. And maybe that's because it's this movie and not the one where you go to space or what have you. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that, especially by even not having seen the other ones and having some context about how exactly everyone is, either related or befriending another, like how all of it works, the dynamics. I was still surprised that like some of that emotion still carried through to me, not
That's
having
cool.
a lot of the underpinnings or the, understanding all that.
Yeah, the
And especially
foundation.
yes, thank you.
Right,
I
right.
especially liked Jason Momoa's villain. He was surprising.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, we've got to do a whole rewatch with you now, Josh, on the whole series leading up to 10.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's what you've done. I mean, it's, sorry, but it's just what's going to happen.
Nice. Yeah, some other ones. I guess I would technically say it was disappointing because it wasn't to the level. I don't think it's a bad movie. But Silent Night, the
Mm,
John Woo film. I really liked the beginning of it, and I didn't care for the last half of it. It just we've been spoiled by John Wick, and especially when I rewatch the trailer again, it kind of makes it seem like it's going to be like that. But that's like when you're watching the film itself, that's not. I don't know. That's not what they chose to do. So for me, the action part of it didn't quite live up, but I was thoroughly impressed. So I guess this is actually both. I was a little disappointed, but I was also really surprised by the first half of it. So an interesting mix there. We're both in one film because a lot of it doesn't have a lot of it is silent as far as dialogue goes, and they were just the emotions they were able to portray, make you feel as well, like you're right there with the characters. I was very impressed by, and Joel Kinnaman's performance was incredible. So I guess that'd be one where I was a little disappointed, but also really impressed.
great, great. Just a couple I wanted to mention. One is called Jung Yi. This is a Korean film. It's on Netflix. Went actually, I think, straight to Netflix. Same director as my favorite zombie movie, Train to Busan. It's a movie about AI. Definitely worth watching. Made my top 20 of the year. Really, really impressed with what they did there. Definitely a big surprise for me. Another one I'll
Sounds good.
mention. Oh yeah, Josh, you got to see that, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like one element that it's kind of weighing more negatively in my mind than it actually was watching it. So I think rewatching it would kind of get rid of that. But yeah,
Gotcha.
no, I really like the film, and they did a good job with like the effects and making you feel, even like because it deals with AI, like you said. So they did a good job at even making you feel breaking through that like artificial quote unquote barrier
Hmm.
of like, oh, it's not a human, or is it a human, how much, like all those kind of things, and they
Yeah.
did a good job of imparting that experience to you.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. One that I was high on, I don't think either of you guys liked it as much. It's called Hypnotic. This is Robert
Mm,
Rodriguez teaming up with Ben Affleck and Alicia Braga, William Fichtner. Great cast. I really liked it. I found it to be kind of like a old school Hitchcock type movie, but with this weird
mm,
sci-fi angle to it. Very efficiently, effectively made. I think it's like 90 minutes, so it's a pretty quick watch. I had a fun time with it. Again, it's a kind of one of these mystery movies that you have to unravel that I really liked. I know you guys weren't as crazy about it. Do you want to mention kind of what made it not work for you guys?
for me it was a little mixed. Like I feel
Mm,
like if I watch it again, I'll be able to get like, I don't know, the movies all kind of jumbled in my head.
okay.
So I know the first part of it, the first half, I guess, I was kind of like, I don't know. I like Robert Rodriguez and I liked the concept of it, and I love Ben Affleck. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be good. And the first half of it to me was just kind of like, what are we doing? What's going
Mm,
on? Is yeah, it wasn't really clicking. And then like
gotcha.
the reveal starts happening and things start unfolding, and I was like, okay, you got my attention now. I'm in. So I think the back half of the movie I enjoyed much better than the first. But to me, like as far as like thinking back on the movie, I just need to rewatch it again to really get a better grasp on like where exact, like I don't know how much I like it, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would recommend a rewatch. I was at 1 star the first time I watched it. I think I was really tired because my review commented on how the characters were sleepy. I think I was sleepy. And then yeah, the second time I gave it 2.5 stars,
Mm,
so a little higher, quite a bit higher. And it's just that I put in my review actually that a little science fiction can go a long way. And I don't know. I mean, that's sometimes true, I guess, but I felt like that would have been helpful here. I just felt like it was so much science fiction, sort of that we are expected to accept, that it was a little bit much. I would compare it to, like, to explain what I mean by that, Deja Vu, that I watched recently. kind of just has that sort of one element of science fiction in it, and then they let
Hmm.
that play out. This felt like just the whole thing was just giving me way too much sci-fi and expecting me to accept that any of that could be possible. I don't know. That's just why I didn't wasn't on board too much with it.
Gotcha. Last one I wanted to mention was Air, which
Oh
is
yeah.
another Ben Affleck film, which he actually directed. I
Oh.
had a good time with this. I think this is a really cool, interesting story that I didn't know anything about. And so I really enjoyed it. Matt Damon, of course, teaming with his old buddy. And you got Jason Bateman, who, Bert, I know is one of your favorites, and then
Yeah.
Chris Messina. Really good cast. Just did a good job telling this story. So yeah, I had a good time with that. Josh, I don't think you were quite as hot on it as we were. Do you want to tell us why it didn't make it as high on your list?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I will say it's another good Affleck and Damon film, both individually and together. But I think the reason I didn't like it as much is that comparison,
Hmm.
especially the other Damon films. He's one of my favorite actors, and so I
Yeah.
feel like everything we got here, kind of like Bert, some of the movies that you mentioned this year, not on a podcast, but just in conversation, it was similar enough to other movies that I think did things better.
Right.
Gotcha.
So like obviously it's a totally different type of movie, but Ford versus Ferrari is another. It technically is also a sport movie about a real life character that has Matt Damon in it as well, and just so things like that. I think it
Gotcha.
just did the same things really well, but did better. And I think
Right.
part of that is also like with the Air. It's based on true story, so there's only so much you can do. And I
Hmm.
feel like some of the like the story elements, there wasn't as much as I would have maybe as would have if it was fictional that you could have put in. If that makes
Gotcha.
Yeah,
sense.
and I was surprised how much I laughed throughout this movie. That's, I mean, for being like a biopic or whatever you want to call it. Can it be a biopic about a shoe? I guess. Um,
A
but
shoe pick.
yeah, yeah, there you go. But that was what really kind of propelled this one. There were a lot of the humor was sort of like a wink to the audience a little bit.
Mm.
Not as much as like the Weird Al movie, but I actually have this at 4 stars. I liked it way more than I thought it would.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, I think that's all I had. You guys have anything else you wanted to mention?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah, I don't think
Cool.
so.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's jump into our top tens. All right. Well, it is time to start with these top 10 lists. We each have, unique lists that suit our own personal tastes. And so they may be a little bit different, but that's part of the fun. So, Bert, why don't you kick us off with your 10 through 6?
Okay, well, at number 10 for 2023, I've got Knock at the Cabin. Another cabin in the woods story.
Right.
I really like this one. M. Night, I love how he brings us original stories, and they don't
True.
always succeed. And in fact, I think I like this more than most people did, it looks like. But I really like that it kept me guessing throughout. I really like the one location setting, and there's a lot of great lighting that's used, a lot of great shots. It's fairly low budget, but I just thought it was really effective. So that's what I got at 10.
Great.
Number 9, I've got The Creator.
Hmm.
And I had very low expectations for this, but again, another original sci-fi film that impresses. It's got great effects and action, and it doesn't really feel like anything I've seen before it. I think I need to kind of rewatch this one, but initially I thought it was really, really good. And it's one actually that maybe more than a lot of these kind of left me thinking about it for a couple days afterward.
Right. Definitely.
So I got number 9. Number 8, I've got Oppenheimer. And from my favorite director, Christopher Nolan. And he just sort of expertly tells this story about Oppenheimer, which I had heard of him from the Sting song back in the 80s. I don't know if you know that song, the Russians. And I knew what he was about, but I knew nothing else. And so it was very eye-opening, very eye-opening story about this guy. Really humanized him, and it's pretty long, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a pretty brisk edit. I mean, Nolan does a lot of these things where like scenes can be like a couple seconds, and they're like flashbacks. So you really have to, hone in on and stay tuned in on what he's doing. Typical for Nolan, of course.
Right.
But I think it's really well made. So you got to bring your brain to the equation. But if it was a little shorter, actually, I think I would have been a little higher in my ranking. Not that I'm against a 3-hour movie, but I've got it at number 8.
Gotcha.
Number 7, I've got a film called Across the Spider-Verse. And I always say I'm not a big animation guy, but wow, this one just it's sort of mind blowing with the animation again, because obviously this is a sequel. I wasn't that knocked out by the story; like it was fine, but I will say like the vocal performances were just terrific, and the action is just berserk, and it's just you just see this constant art form changing in front of your eyes, the artistic abilities of these animators. And so I do wish they'd slow down a little bit sometimes for the action, but I'll just keep enjoying it, each time I see it, I'm sure, so that's excellent.
Great.
That was my number 7. And then at 6, I've got John Wick 4. Watched this a couple times, and this series just it's like every appearance, it just levels up each time, and this is just so grand and so epic at times, and sometimes it's just more just to impress you from, again, an artistic standpoint. Like there's scenes where he's fighting and doing his stuff, and there's people that it's like at a rave, and these people are like dancing in the background, totally oblivious to all this crazy action that's going on, and there's just amazing lighting and colors and everything, and it's just it's those kind of scenes that I think are that make it take that step up from a lot of other films.
Definitely.
Just one example, but anyway, I really hope the series continues on its trajectory, but this one might actually end up higher in my list, on my third watch even. It's just, yeah, terrific. That's my number 6 though.
Excellent. Great stuff. Josh, do you want to go ahead and give us your 10 through 6?
Yeah. So at number 10, I have The Covenant, Guy Ritchie's film this year, or Guy Ritchie's The Covenant, I guess is the alternate title. There's a couple other movies that were kind of similar to this year, but yeah, I don't know, just the heart behind the story, and following the journey of each of the two main protagonists as you go. I don't know, just really stood out to me. And obviously Guy Ritchie is a great filmmaker, so his filmmaking techniques and handprint, if you will, are on this as well. Number 9, I've got Extraction 2, the much anticipated sequel to the first one with Chris Hemsworth. And I think this one just elevates everything the first one was doing to even like a greater level. Now, maybe the story isn't as good, or, what have you, but I think everything else is just, at 11. Especially the camera work. There's a couple wonders in there that are just absolutely incredible to watch. Number 8, I have Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. This is just so much fun. I've seen it, I think, like 3 times now. It's such a blast to watch, and kind of unexpectedly too, because you're, with a lot of these video game, or I know this is also a role-playing game, so a lot of these adaptions, sometimes they can be a little hit or miss, and you're not quite sure how it's going to land. But I don't know, I just have so much fun with this one. They make the world so inviting, and you want to see more in this world, so that's really cool, and I'm looking forward to a hopeful sequel. Number 7, I have The Holdovers, with the Paul Giamatti led unexpected Christmas movie that just came out last month. And yeah, this one just, I don't know, it's unexpectedly heartwarming, and so well acted, and it's humorous, and it's got like emotional bits too, and I just felt it was a really well-rounded movie that I just really enjoyed. And then at 6, I also have John Wick Chapter 4, and I think the only thing I could complain about this movie is that too many people had bulletproof vests. But other than that, I can't say anything. I can't say anything bad about the film.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, Bert, it's just like like the whole series is like that, where it's that kind of like that. I don't know if it's theatrics is the right word, but just that elevated level of art on display amidst a quote unquote action film, or sometimes action films are just like, oh, it's action fodder. It's not that like the filmmaking cinema aspect isn't that high, so to speak.
Right.
But that is definitely not true with the John Wick films, especially as they've progressed. I think maybe you could say, oh, the first one has the least amount of that, but then it just, goes up from there with each film. And this one is no exception to that. And there's also a lot of heart behind the film too, with the relationships that John Wick has with these other characters and how they all care for one another and are willing to put friendship and loyalty above the rules, if you will. And so that's what really stuck out to me in that film.
Excellent. Great list, guys. All right, time for my 10 through 6. I'm going to start with a low budget movie, probably the biggest surprise for me of the year, that was straight to Hulu. It's called No One Will Save You. That's what I have at number 10. Just a very creative film. It's, an alien invasion movie unlike any I've seen before. It kind of pays homage to other ones, but it really is its own thing. It's just so unique. I really had fun with it. Very minimal dialogue, basically no dialogue through most of the film. So, all relying on visual storytelling. What they did with the camera work was great. I thought, the effects held up really well. The lead performance was excellent, very thematic, just really, really good kind of horror, kind of thriller, with a really kind of engaging emotional story that I really, really kind of just took me back. So had to mention that one. That one had to make the top 10. At number 9, I have another low budget film from Angel Studios called Sound of Freedom. This is a harrowing tale, a true story of Tim Ballard and what he's done to help children who are being trafficked. It's a really kind of intense story, hard to watch at times even, but tastefully done at the same time. It wasn't, too overly graphic or anything like that. It was really well shot. I like the thought that the filmmakers put into it. There's the way the film opens and closes kind of as a nice bookend. It's kind of basically ends on the same shot as it opens with, and just that kind of thought that they put into it. Like not a lot of small budget kind of movies do that. So I really appreciated that. All the performances are great. Jim Caviezel is always wonderful. So that made my number 9. Number 8, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Man, this movie just really blew me away. The animators took it to another level. That first one was such a fresh kind of film. And so when you go into a sequel to something like that, that's so different in its animation style and its kind of storytelling, all the characters that were there, this one just dialed it up to 11. I mean, it really went insane. Like, I love going to all the different worlds and getting to see those specific animation styles, incredible, really incredible work on display there. Like you said, Bert, voice talent is off the charts. So yeah, had a great time watching that as the kind of the middle chapter of the Spider-Verse trilogy that they're creating. So that made it at number 8. At number 7, another animated movie that I was excited for because I've been a fan of these characters for a long time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I had such a great time watching this. It's really funny. Again, the animation style is so different. It's very kind of ugly is I guess a good way to describe it, but it's fun to watch. It's not like off-putting ugly. It's like kind of intentionally kind of looks almost like graffiti come to life in a weird way. I don't know how to really describe it, but it's really, really fun. They got teenagers to voice the turtles this time, which I think was a great choice. Their kind of camaraderie really comes through, and just a really fun story, very action-packed and really cool. So that made it my number 7. At number 6, cinematic master Martin Scorsese came back this year with Killers of the Flower Moon. This is a true story about the Osage people back in the early 1900s. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and Lily Gladstone, who was an actress I'd never heard of, but she did an absolutely fantastic job as the heart of this movie, the heart of the story, her relationship with Leonardo DiCaprio, and all of that. It just worked really, really well for me. Had a great time watching it. It's an epic. It's a 3-hour movie. It's a big story, but it definitely does it justice. And it's one of those kind of forgotten parts of American history that I was very curious about. So they did a great job with that. So that's my 10 through 6. Bert, why don't you continue with your 5 through 1?
Yeah, so at 5, I've got Sound of Freedom, and
great.
Much like you said, hard to watch. I mean, it's really a wonderful film. It's just that I think you said it doesn't get too graphic, and that's true. But even as close as they get, there were like literal times, there were at least 3 times that I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know if I can actually finish this movie." Almost turned it off, but thankfully they cut away before, because obviously they're not going to depict the the craziness,
right?
that's implied. And so I really don't have anything negative to say. It's well acted, well directed. I mean, it's one of those, it nearly brought me to tears. I think everyone should see it if they can stomach it.
Definitely.
So
Yes, I agree.
yeah. And so then the next three of mine are somewhat similar, I guess you could say, in type. And they're somewhat interchangeable. I may have them slightly different on Letterboxd. I don't know, but this is the order I put them in. So at 4, I've got Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and this is just a terrific end to the trilogy. It's just it's the kind of movie I like as far as superhero film, and it's great action, comedy effects, character arcs. This is sort of the culmination, so it's great. It's not flawless, but I still prefer chapter 2, I think, slightly. Gamora is kind of unlikable at times in this movie, but anyway, it's a great film, so that's what I've got at number 4. Number 3, I've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, another one that I think I liked a lot more than a lot of people did. I just picked up the 4K and watched it again. And to me, it's a huge step up from 1 and 2. I think I liked 1 quite a bit, and 2 is just okay. And then this one is just like, it brings it up to me on almost to the level of like a Avengers film. And the world that's created, even though it's technically, I guess it's indoors, it's this vast expanse of a world, and I never feel like I'm in a tiny place. And then what they fill it with, what they populate it with, is so fascinating and so varied, and so the effects and the just the beauty and the colors just really wins me over. And then Jonathan Majors, I just think he was one of the best characters out of any of these top 10s that I'm listing. I just think he just an absolute fantastic performance by him. This one, honestly, it might be a 5-star film. I got it now at 4.5. So we got number 3. Then at number 2, yet another one that probably no one would agree with. I've got The Flash. That's probably resonates more with me because of the idea of I lost a parent when I was younger. So the idea of bringing back that parent, I mean, when it's done well, that really resonates a lot with me. A lot of stuff here that probably isn't the best. But like, for instance, so we get more of Affleck's Batman, which scores huge points with me. How it's handled probably isn't the best, but it really doesn't matter because I want more of it, even if it's mediocre. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I'm such a huge fan of that. So I'm not
Same.
saying that it doesn't have problems. And then the CGI, especially involving like that chroma bowl, like what they do to sort of display what they're trying to, what we're trying to do in the film, I thought was really pretty brilliant. Kind of reminded me of Interstellar, the way there was like layers of the same things. And anyway, I just thought it was so well done. I could say a lot more about it, but that's my number 2. And then at number 1, I have Mission Impossible 7: Dead Reckoning Part 1. And okay, so here's the thing. I had this at least 4.5 star, maybe 5 on the first viewing, but after the second viewing, it's kind of dropping. I don't know if I would still put this at my number 1. It's certainly still in my top 5. It's just the type of film that I like, and it's done so intelligently and expertly directed and acted, and the action scenes are thrilling without being too far-fetched. That's what I like. And I love that kind of thing. And some great performances. The bad guy, Isai Morales, who also was really great in Ozark. He's excellent here. And there's many other actors. I won't get into a lot of detail, but what I didn't love the second time is I felt like this is the first mission film where they kind of deal a little bit too much with sort of the science fiction elements. And I prefer them to kind of steer away from that, because they don't really need that to make a great action film, as evidenced by Fallout. That's my number 1.
Gotcha. Great thoughts. Cool. All right, Josh, go ahead and give us your top 5. What do you got?
All right, so at number 5, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Basically, just to echo, Bert, what you said about it, it's just a fantastic film. And already, I think I've also seen this one like 3 times now, between the theater and home release or Disney Plus. But it immediately has that, like, if I see, like I saw, I think I said this before, but I saw my roommate watching it, and it was just like in the beginning or whatever, and then it had this like sense of like familiarity and like, man, I like, this is such a good movie. And to have that so quickly, It's just a testament to Gunn and the cast and crew and everyone for just such a fantastic film and continuing what we love about Guardians. So yeah, that's why I got a number 5. At number 4, I have Gran Turismo, which is another one where it's like, oh, it's kind of a video game movie. It is also based on a true story, and so you're like, oh, is it going to be good? Are they going to mess it up? And I've never actually played the racing game, the simulation, I should say, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and my enjoyment has grown upon each upon rewatch, and just such a good heart to the film is really the main thing that stands out. And then obviously you have the thrills of racing and all the adrenaline and stuff like that, which is also really fun. So yeah, it kind of stayed high and just got higher as I rewatched it. I think I've only seen it twice, but still, it
Cool.
still did that. And then number 3, this one is very subjective. I have The Marvels, which I know some people are trashing and some people are defending, but I think even being high on it, I think I'm still a little higher than at least your average moviegoer. I don't know. I just love this movie so much. It's got the sort of some wacky elements that you aren't expecting. Like if people are like tired of the Marvel formula, this is one that breaks that mold because it just does like so many different things, and it's just so much fun to watch. And not only just on a fun level, but on an actor level. The 3 leads all work together really well, and they have some great interactions. And then just on a filmmaking level, not just like the cinematography in space and just different things like that they did. The fight choreography, it's not like a Transformers movie. You can actually see what's going on, and it's done very well. Not only the fight choreography itself, but how they shot it. So I just have an absolute blast with this film, and I love like everything about it. It's just so much fun. At number 2, I have The Creator. And this would be my number 1 if a certain other movie that I'll mention in a second hadn't come out this year. But yeah, I've seen it twice now. And the first time I was like, I really like it, but I'm not quite sure like how I feel about all of it. And then like the second time I saw it, it was just like, yep, this movie's amazing. I love it. And main credit to the lead actress whose name I don't have on me at the second.
Yeah.
Little Madeline Una Voiles. Yeah. She just totally carried the film, and her part, she did it excellently. She's the heart of the film as well. So just 10 out of 10, knocked it out of the park. Without her character, or maybe with someone who had acted it differently, without that emotional weight that she brings to it, it may not be on my top 10 at all. I don't know. But yeah, she just did such an excellent job, and it was such a moving film and performance and all that, yeah, right up there, top films of the year for me anyway. And then number 1, I have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and I'll just echo what you guys already said. It's just incredible, and like you said, Cameron, I think it takes everything up to like level 11.
Yeah,
it turns everything up way higher. And the first movie was already so great. So kind of like you guys were saying, like what are they going to do? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be just as good? And I didn't think it could be better. I thought maybe it would be just as good, but I don't know. I think it's better personally than the first one. And the first one's already so amazing. So the main standouts, I think, for me are just the visually, like you guys talked about, what's going on visually between all the different worlds and everything. And then couple that with the music and how they're trying to tell the story that way, especially in like Gwen's world with all that watercolor and everything, as well as the personal story, mainly both Gwen and Miles, both their 2 stories kind of in tandem. They're kind of like a sort of shared protagonists, if you will, in this movie. And I don't know, I have no words for just the emotional gravitas that they're able to bring with all the elements visually, voice acting, sound, all of it. It's just incredible.
Great pick. All right, guys, on to my top 5 of the year. In at number 5, movie I literally just saw like 2 days ago, but it is just this good. It's from another masterful director who's been around for decades, Hayao Miyazaki. His latest film, The Boy and the Heron. This is a Japanese film from Studio Ghibli, who become very popular recently. All their films look great. You know, they're those traditional hand-drawn animated movies that I just adore. The painstaking artistry that goes into those movies is just incredible. So it looks great. My brother described it as surrealist Narnia, which I think is a good way to describe it. It's very, you know, it's got that typical kind of wackiness going on, very, very weird imagery and things happening to these characters. But yeah, it's about this you know, young boy who kind of follows this heron into this mystical world, and it's about him dealing with the loss of one of his parents and all this, you know, just wonderful stuff that happens, and you know, again, visuals, and the voice cast is great. It's got, you know, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, Christian Bale, just incredible voice acting all the way around. So highly recommend it. It's now in theaters. It actually, for opening weekend, it topped the box office, so that's never happened before, which is pretty cool. So yeah, great movie. Then at number 4, I'm wearing the Continental shirt because John Wick Chapter 4 was a movie that just blew me away. You know, I'm a huge fan of the series. Like you guys are saying, they just up themselves every time. I don't know how. I think that's where they're like, maybe we should end it here. Because I don't know how they're going to keep topping themselves. But yeah, it's so good. I mean, Keanu Reeves, Chad Stahelski, those two guys have, you know, worked together since The Matrix, and you know, Stahelski jumping into the director's chair now on these 4 movies. He's just done an incredible job. Like you guys are saying, the artistry, cinematography, the way he thinks visually, it's just really, really fantastic. So that ended up at number 4. Number 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Man, this movie just really hit me hard, very emotional. You know, these are my favorite characters in the MCU, and so to kind of say goodbye to them was really hard, but they did it in a great way. I don't see how they could have done it any better, getting Rocket's backstory while continuing the other characters' stories forward. Just really, really worked. And you know, the villain here, High Evolutionary, he's one of the best MCU villains I think ever. Just a really, really great character. So yeah, super funny, super emotional, wild, wacky, crazy visual stuff going on, great action sequences, great use of soundtrack again, as we expect. So yeah, James Gunn just did an excellent job with that. And then at number 2, another Japanese film I just saw recently, Godzilla -1. Man, this one is totally came out of left field. Was not, I hadn't really heard much about it. I think I'd maybe seen a trailer. But man, the buzz around it, I was just like, this is really getting a lot of good reviews and people are talking a lot about this. I need to go check it out. So went and saw it and was just blown away. It was such a pleasant surprise to see a Godzilla movie with a real story, with characters I cared about, with, you know, just incredible action sequences, great effects on such a low budget, which again, I have no idea how they did that, but just really, really well-made film, great acting, you know, great, again, a great story that I just really can't wait to experience again. So that ended up at number 2. And then number 1, no surprise, my favorite character of all time returned to the big screen for one final adventure, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Harrison Ford coming back. You know, to me, I think he just gave another great performance, as he always does. James Mangold stepping into the director's chair for Spielberg. I was a little worried about it, but this guy's got such a great track record with Logan and Ford v Ferrari and Night and Day and all these great movies I like from him. And he just did a great job of telling the story of kind of a hero at sunset. You know, his send-off, I think, works really well. I like the mix of the new characters they brought in a couple old characters, you know, for small roles. And I just really enjoyed it. I had a great time watching it. Can't wait to watch it again. And so, yeah, Indy's at number 1. So that's it. That is it for our top 10 lists individually. And now it's time to create our shared top 10 list for the Real World Podcast. So here's what we're going to do. I've already compiled a list of the movies that we have in common. So that's obviously where we want to start. Obviously, we're up for arguments. If, you know, we didn't have something in our top 10 or something not all of us have even seen, I'm you know, willing to take arguments. I have an argument for one of mine, so I'm going to try to fight for one. But we obviously want it to be, you know, a shared list. So let's just take a quick look at what we have in common. So we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is a movie that these are just movies we've all seen, not necessarily in our top 10, but Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Sound of Freedom, No One Will Save You, Peter Pan and Wendy, The Creator, 65, Hypnotic, Air, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, Blue Beetle, Elemental, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Shazam Fury of the Gods, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, The Flash, Plane, Knock at the Cabin, and Haunted Mansion. Those are the ones that I had here. So I guess we need to first look at what we have rated really high. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we all had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in our top 5. Is that right?
I do.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so I think that's our number 1 because we all have that ranked and rated the highest.
Right.
So just as a placeholder, we'll put it in. We'll make this all official in a moment, but I'm going to put that in at number 1 for now. We also all have Across the Spider-Verse in our top 10. So let me just make sure.
Could that be the number 1?
Well, since Guardians is all in our top 5, that's why I put that higher, but I'm open to arguments for putting Spidey higher. The other one that we all have, I think, in our top 6 is John Wick 4.
Right.
Because Bert,
that
I think
should be.
Yeah, so that one should be next, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So John Wick should maybe be at 2, and then Spidey at 3.
Do we all have the No, just 2 of us have the Creator, right, in our top 10?
Yeah, both of you have it. I have it. It's close to my top 15-ish. I think I have it at like 16 or 17. So I'm open to including it. Where did you guys have? I think I see here that you guys have Indiana Jones at like your top 15. Is that right?
Yeah, I have it 11.
You have it at 11. Bert, I think you had it at 15. Last time I looked, unless you changed it. Okay,
15. Yep.
Okay, so let's put that up for now.
That should probably
again. All this is subject to change. I'm open to changing any of this, but it looks like the next one.
Frame it in.
Yeah. And then I don't mind putting Creator next because we do all have that pretty high. Put Creator up here. Okay, so then let's see here. Bert, you and I both have Sound of Freedom in our top 10. Josh, I know you're a little lower on that one, but I think you still gave it like a 4-star rating.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it.
Okay. Let's see if we put that up here. What was the other one I had? Oh, Mission Impossible. I know, Josh, you and I are a little lower on that one. Bert, you said it's kind of going down as you're thinking.
Dropping for me a little bit too.
Yeah. But since it is technically your number 1, I'd like to include it if that's the one you want to fight for. I'm fine with putting it in there.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I still think it's outstanding.
Sure. Yeah, very well made. My issue with that one was it very much felt like a part 1 by the end. You know what I mean? Like it's not a full story. So that was my biggest issue with that movie.
Did you see my point about the AI though? Like it doesn't really.
I agree with that as well.
With the rest of the series.
Yep.
But that's just me kind of, like I said, wishing or wanting, maybe less of that kind of stuff as the villain.
Yeah, it's become so prevalent. I feel like 10 movies had AI as the bad guy this year.
Yeah.
It was like the big thing.
Or at least dealt with it.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so I know you guys were really high on Dungeons and Dragons. And I like it. I rewatched it. I do like it more than my initial watch. So I would entertain that one. Like we said, 65 is one we didn't really talk about, but I know we all like that one quite a bit. No One Will Save You. I know we all, enjoyed that.
Did you guys both have Oppenheimer in your top 10?
I haven't seen Oppenheimer, unfortunately. I know you guys both have it really high, so I'm open to putting it in because it's Nolan and you guys both really enjoyed it. Especially if you guys give me Godzilla, I'll definitely give you Oppenheimer.
I'm not opposed to that.
All right, let me put those both
Well,
up here and see what
Josh,
that
what did
looks
you
like.
rank? How many stars do you give Oppenheimer?
Probably 4.5.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty high then. Yeah.
Yeah, I have it at 12, so
Oh, okay.
it's just outside the top 10.
Where did you have that ranked, Bert?
I'm looking right now.
I think you had it at 8 or something, or
So mine may crack it
Yeah,
upon
8.
rewatch.
8.
Eight.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not opposed at all to including that. Just haven't had a chance to watch it. All right, so Dungeons and Dragons, I know you guys both really liked. I liked it more on rewatch. Bert, did you have a rating on that? I think I have it at like 3.5.
I'm at 4 on that.
You're at 4? Okay. And I know Josh is at 4.5, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so we can definitely consider that one. Let me see. Anything else stand out to you guys as one that we really need to have in there that we all have on our list? Like, you know, we mentioned 65, No One Will Save You, Peter Pan.
Bert, did you see Ninja Turtles?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I'm
That
not
one was
that
just
familiar with
outside
that
my
universe either.
that my top 10. Yeah, me either.
Right.
But
I would
that
just
was
say
another
again
one
that Oppenheimer.
high
Oh, sorry.
service.
Yeah, just Oppenheimer. I would guess it's probably going to be up for a lot of Oscars. I don't really know, but it's one of those
Yeah.
that is just just expertly helmed and
Mhm.
very just very interesting historically, and the way it's shot, the nonlinear
Mhm.
fashion and all of that. I mean, it's probably going to go up on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally fine with
Same.
that being in there. So let's see here. Let me take a quick look because I think we already have 10 if we include Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm.
Guardians 3, John Wick 4, Spider-Man, Indiana Jones, The Creator. That's 5. And then we have Sound of Freedom, Mission Impossible, Oppenheimer. If you guys will give me Godzilla, and then Dungeons and Dragons. So how are we feeling about that?
Godzilla is your 2. I mean, that kind of film too. I'd be shocked if I didn't really like it.
Right. Yeah, do you like the other Godzilla? I know you like the Roland Emmerich one.
The one you don't like.
Right.
Yeah, and
so you must like the others.
Okay, so the 2014 one I really liked, but I actually haven't seen the sequels to them yet. I bought one of them recently, but so I'm behind in watching them. But I like those kinds of films for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you'll get a kick out of this. So, all right. Anything else we want to discuss?
You guys are out on the Flash, right? You guys didn't really
yeah, it's pretty low for me, honestly. Just I'm such a Snyder fan that to me it diminished what he did more than like supported it. Bringing Zod back was a cool idea, but the way they did it, I just wasn't a fan of. Same like you said with Affleck, like to me he's not really even playing the same part. So yeah, to me it just fell flat. I like Ezra Miller's great. I mean his performance is so good playing both those roles, and then the whole thing with his mother was really well done for the most part, but there's just so much that bogs it down for me. The visual element of it just didn't fully work, and then bringing Keaton back, I just kind of felt bad for him. Like I don't know. I just didn't feel like they really capitalized on bringing his Batman back in a cool way. Supergirl was great. It's got pros and cons for me.
Exactly.
It's got a lot of pros and cons.
I see it.
So.
Yeah, I think I like it a little more than Cameron. I have it at 21, so it's not that far down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I really like the score is amazing. So that aside, if you haven't listened to the score, that's worth checking out. But I really like all the Batman stuff. That's kind of what elevates the film. That, the action, Supergirl, the score, Ezra Miller's performance. I don't know. It just it's got the coolness factor down. And some of those surprise cameos we see. I don't know. I just it's for me. I would say it's like I guess like a guilty pleasure. Like it's really fun. Now, is it the best movie? Is there things I don't like about it? Yada yada. Sure. But I don't know. I just have fun watching it. So that's I think I'm probably a little higher on it than Cameron is.
Sounds like
Gotcha.
though across three of us, it's probably not worthy of top
Yeah,
10.
I'm not quite feeling it for a top 10.
That's fair.
You know, but let me take another look here down at the what did you guys I know we all, 65 is one of these that I really liked. I want to rewatch it. I haven't rewatched it yet. I just thought the concept was good and it was, well executed for the most part. So
I've got it
I
at
don't know.
19. I gave it 3 stars. I might have been a little
Mhm.
low on that though. I did
Okay.
like it quite a bit. But
Okay.
again, I need to rewatch it too. Yeah, it was earlier this year.
Right. And then No One
Yeah.
Will Save You. That's in my top 10. I don't think either of you had it, but from what I remember, you guys ranked it fairly high or rated it fairly high.
Yeah, let me look at
Yeah.
that one. I liked it quite a bit. I think I was at 3.5 stars on that one too. Yeah. I got that one at 23.
Okay.
And I've got it at 3 stars. And I might be a little low on that one too. Sometimes I'll go under a little bit on my ranking until I see it a
Right.
second time.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
same.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Did
don't
you
think
rank
there's
that one,
anything-
Josh?
What was the question?
Did you? How many stars would you give? No One Will Save You.
I gave it 4. It was 3.5, but
Oh.
after I was talking to Cameron, kind of like about some of the, what's the word, like what the
The
aliens
themes,
represent.
yeah, right,
the
yeah.
themes.
Mhm,
Then
mhm.
like any story that has really good themes elevates it to me. Like even Wonder Woman 84 has like really strong themes, so that elevated that for me.
Mhm.
So yeah, I bumped it up to 4 stars.
Gotcha.
Trying to look at these other ones. So we've all seen Elemental.
Oh yeah, that's really good too.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
I have that at
solid.
14.
Oh, you have
I've
it
seen
14.
that 5 or 6
Okay.
times with
Oh, have you?
kids.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
nice.
kids.
Okay. That might not be a bad one to include.
So yes, maybe aside from that one, there's nothing in the ones that we've all seen that, not that I wouldn't be okay with, but that I feel like I need to personally pull for to make the top 10.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look for. If there's anything you guys specifically want to try to put in there.
I think we pretty much got them.
I think we do too. Let's look again.
Do we have
So we've got Guardians locked in. I think at least
Okay.
these top 5 are locked in. Guardians, John Wick 4, Spider-Man, Indiana Jones, Creator. I think even Sound of Freedom, it sounds like it's locked in too. Mission Impossible, I'm fine with being in there. Oppenheimer, definitely good with that. And then if you guys will give me Godzilla, we'll just need one more. And if we want it to be, I guess, either Dungeons and Dragons, Elemental, No One Will Save You, 65. Transformers is up there too. Super Mario Brothers.
Rank? Oh yeah, that one's good too. What did you rank? What did you say? Dungeons and Dragons. What star rating did you give for that one?
I give it 3.5. I give it
And
3.5.
where's it at on your list?
I think it's at like number 20, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
It's not that low.
No, it's not. I mean, I've seen 56 films this year, or some 52 or something like that. So
And
it's
Josh, you had it where on your list?
I had it in my I had it number 8.
And I'm at 11.
It's pretty close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. Again, I wouldn't have a problem putting it in. Josh, you and I both have Covenant and The Marvels in our top 15. We wanted to include one of those.
I would fight for The Marvels, but I feel like it'd be better to include a movie the 3 of us have seen than just. But did you see The Marvels, Bert?
No.
Okay.
Right.
I feel like it'd be more helpful anyway if it was like a 3-way instead of a 2.
I agree. We did all see Peter Pan and Wendy. Were you guys pretty high on that or not? Because I have that at number 11. Like I have that really high.
I was mixed. I have it at 36.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah. I have it at 20. I mean, it's not. It's more like a family kind of film. Like I probably wouldn't reach for it much myself.
Sure.
But I think it's a well-made family film. So it's a it's at 20, but if I was 12, would probably be my favorite movie of the year. You know what I mean?
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
not to say like you're childish if you like it.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
mean
no.
that,
Yeah. No, yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
Right, right.
Would you guys say you're higher on Elemental than Peter Pan and Wendy?
I am.
I am.
Yeah, I'm not, but if you guys
I don't know. I
want,
was just trying
no, no,
gauging, see where everyone is.
yeah, absolutely. If you guys think you'd rather have Elemental than Dungeons and Dragons, I'm open to that.
I'm fine with either. I mean, I have Elemental
Same.
lower. Again, it's more of like the family movie kind of
Yeah,
thing. I don't know how often I'd watch it by myself again, but
right.
whereas Dungeons and Dragons, I'm sure I'll see that a few times over the years myself.
I agree.
This is what propels it a little higher on my list. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Individual rewatchability or
Right.
personal rewatchability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. All right. So let's do this. I think that 10th spot should go to Dungeons and Dragons. Personally, it sounds like we're all a little bit higher on that one collectively.
I think that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in at 10.
Okay.
Now I know since not all of us have seen Godzilla. Do we want to include that, or would you guys? I'm okay if you guys just want to include ones that we've all seen. But then we would have to get rid of Oppenheimer because I haven't seen it. Or are you guys okay with including Godzilla and Oppenheimer?
Well, we didn't already have Oppenheimer in there, did we?
Well, I had it as a potential for top 10 because both of you have seen it and rate it really high.
Is there room for Oppenheimer and Godzilla at this point, or no?
There is. Yeah. If we don't include Elemental, then that's fine with me.
As far as our recommended list, would it be fair to say that maybe we include like a couple of these that we haven't all three seen, but put them further down the list?
Yes, totally.
Like they've been less vetted. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah, definitely. No, I'm fine with if Bert, since you haven't seen Godzilla, are you okay with that at number 9?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And then we'll put Oppenheimer at 8 then.
That would, it makes sense. Sure.
That makes sense to me. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's look at these top 7. So we need to figure out where these are going to be placed. So we've got Mission Impossible, Sound of Freedom, The Creator, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, John Wick, and Guardians. So I feel like, Josh, since you and I weren't as hot on Mission Impossible, and Bert, you say it's going down in your mind, should we put that at 7?
I would say, yeah.
Okay. And then at 6, I feel like it could be a few. I think you guys aren't as crazy about Indiana Jones. But wait, Josh, you had Sound of Freedom ranked in your like 20.
It was lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that
didn't like it.
Right.
What are our 6
enjoyed
at this
others
point?
more.
Are we looking at the top 6?
Yeah, the 6 are Sound of Freedom, The Creator, Indiana Jones, Spider-Man, John Wick, and Guardians. So I feel like
you guys had Sound of Freedom in your top 10s. I did not.
Right.
And then,
that's what makes me think that should go at 6.
Okay.
But then I didn't have Creator in my top 10, but I think both of you did, right?
Yeah, so it's another 2 for.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like Creator needs to go up higher. I think number 5 should be Indy. Does that sound right?
Your number 1 too.
Right. So it needs to be in there, but
it was at my 11. It was just outside.
Right.
Or 11 or 12.
It's my 15. So it's probably pretty high for all of us. Yeah.
Right. But since both of you had Creator in top 10, I feel like that gives it precedent over Indy.
I could see that. Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with Indiana Jones at 5, Creator at 4. And then we just got to figure out this top 3. I think we all had Guardians in our top 5, which I think puts that at number 1.
Yeah.
And then
I've got it 4. So at 4, yeah.
Right. And then John Wick at 2 or 3. Spider-Man and John Wick we need to figure out. If Spidey, I have it at 8, Bert, you have it at 7, Josh has it at 1. And then John Wick, I have it at 4. You guys both have it at 6.
I think it could go either way.
Yeah, that can go
For
either
me,
way. You're right.
Then I'm not a big animation guy. Rewatchability, I'll definitely watch the Spider-Verse film again, but the John Wick film, I'm sure I'll watch that much more often.
That's
Right.
fair.
Good point.
But that's just me, you know.
And for me, one of the reasons I didn't give Spider-Man a full 5 stars is because it's a cliffhanger. It's one of those like that
Yeah.
I'm gonna want to watch the third one whenever I watch all of them together. I'm not gonna just put on 2. Probably I'll put on 2
That's
and
fair,
then
yeah.
immediately watch 3. But it's a very minor kind of thing. But I feel like John Wick is more of a complete story, I guess is what I'm saying. John Wick 4, I can just watch it by itself.
Right. There's a
So
conclusion.
to me,
that
that
makes
means John Wick is a little bit higher, maybe.
Okay.
Josh, I know it's your
Collectively
number.
rated higher.
Yeah, I think. Do we actually? Let me see if we have.
Are all our number ones in there?
Yeah,
Or
all
what
our
was your
number
number
ones
one
are in
again?
here.
Right, Mission Impossible. That's right.
Bert's was Mission. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad of that all our number ones are in.
Yes, definitely. They all needed to be in there for sure. Yeah, I think that's going to work because Spider-Verse, I have it at 4.5. Josh, you have it at 5 stars. Bert, I think you said you had it at 4 stars.
4. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
And
I have John Wick.
4.5.
You have Wick at 4.5.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I
Okay.
do too.
Okay. Yeah, and then I have it at
It's
5.
also the
So
it's also the collectively rated higher star-wise.
it is. Yep. Cool. Okay, guys. Well, let's just go through our top 10. I think we got it. I think we got it locked in. Let's just make sure. Number 10, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Number 9, Godzilla -1. Number 8, Oppenheimer. Number 7, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Number 6, Sound of Freedom. Number 5, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 4, The Creator. Number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 2, John Wick Chapter 4. And number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That sound right?
I like the good diversity of films in here.
There are. There's an animated movie. There's a foreign film. There's some fantasy. There's some action. There's a biopic, sci-fi, action. Yeah, it's got everything. Comic book movie, 2 comic book movies. It's good. It's a really good list. It's good. I like it. Cool. Awesome, guys. Okay, well, that's our official Real World Top 10 Best Movies of 2023. Make sure you guys let us know in the comments below what your 10 favorite movies of the year are. Of course, there's still a couple more to come out. We got Wonka coming out this week, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's coming out soon. There's a few others. So Rebel Moon, of course, which I'm excited about. So there will be another list coming with the 2nd annual Reelies, our annual award show. And so be on the lookout for that coming in the coming months. I think they set the Oscars for March 10th. So we'll probably shoot it somewhere around there. So yeah, make sure you come back to the channel soon. A lot of exciting stuff that we're going to announce soon coming to the channel that we're really excited about. Some very unique opportunities we have. So be on the lookout for that as well. Bert, thanks again. As always, it was a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you. This was fun. It's fun creating these lists.
Yeah, it is. It is fun. Yeah, last week we did our Christmas movie list. So obviously people are watching Christmas movies right now. Go to check that list out if you want some movies that we can recommend for you to watch with the family over the holiday season. And come back next week. We're going to be talking about our favorite prequels as Wonka is coming to theaters. The backstory of Wonka. We're going to talk about our favorite prequel films. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check out all of our reactions, reviews, Blu-ray videos. We've got all kinds of fun stuff on the channel right now. Make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified of all our videos. Oh, also go down to the description. We're all on Letterboxd, so check out our Letterboxd lists, Letterboxd profiles. You can find us there. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, so follow us on social media. And that's it, folks. So we will see you next time right here on The Real World.